After you select a module to use, the best practice is to carefully read up on the documentation for the module. All well-designed modules will have some sort of documentation, though there is no standardization. For the admin toolbar module that we installed in the previous lesson, all the necessary documentation is on the module page itself, and there is no separate documentation section. Though more complex modules might have it, and you should definitely read it up if it is available. After you install a module, go to its resident folder, and you will typically find a text file called readme or some similarly named file. Again, you will usually find useful information in this file. Sometimes late coming release notes, bug fixes, and more crucially, workarounds to known issues can also be found in this file. And then after the module has been enabled, the module designer might put in additional configuration for the module in the extend section. You should expand the module listing and further explore the options available. In fact, our admin toolbar was so simple that it did not have any extra configurations, but you will usually find it here. Let's look at one more example. We had installed the poll module in project 7, and it in fact has some extra settings for permissions, and a link has been provided, and this link will take you directly to the permissions page poll section. It will allow you to set fine grain permissions on which role will be allowed to do what with the polls. Some other more complex modules will allow you to configure the module right from this page. An example is this automated cron module. Again, when you expand the listing, you will find a link to the configuration screen for the module. And this is how the configuration screen for the cron module will look. Very similarly, the image field also has links to both the permissions and a separate configuration screen. Interestingly, this is not the only page where modules expose configuration screens. Some of them will also add configuration options in the main configuration section of Drupal after installation. A case in point is our good old poll module once again. It did not add any options on the module listing page, but has exposed a link in the configuration section. And this link and the page it leads to have been added to Drupal after the poll module was installed. In fact, you can see just like a content type, you have got options for managing fields, form display, input and output of how a poll will be displayed. As a conclusion, whether a module allows you fine-grained configuration or not itself can be a deciding factor for you choose a module. If the functionality is anything but trivial, you would prefer nothing to be hard-coded into the module, and that a configuration of some sort is available to you to fine-tune it according to your requirements. Once you install a module, be sure to read up on all available forms of documentation. Be sure to set necessary permissions and make necessary configurations wherever they are presented by the module designer.